It is I, Rory Kelly. How are you doing? You might notice I am in a different location today because, as many of you know, I am a musician and I have a gig today down the road from where I am right now. So I borrowed some space and I'm doing the Witchy Weather Report locally in Huntington. If you're on Long Island, visit the Huntington Folk Festival later today. I go on at 1:15 p.m. There's music all day long. It starts a little before. I think starts at 12:30, 12 or 12:30, and goes all day. It's at Heckscher Park. All right. Let's see. Do I see anyone tuned in yet? Drop a comment and let me know if you're tuned in. I have this weird setup where I've got my phone kind of hanging off of my computer screen so I can be in both places at once. So I can't see how many people are viewing. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's good for my headspace. Witchy Weather Report. Today we are reading from the Spiral Tarot. If you're tuned in, please drop a comment and say hello. And as always, if you would like to have me pull a card for you, please put a cat emoji in the chat. Or if you can't put an emoji for any reason, just drop the word meow and I will know. All right, I'm going to share this in one or two places. In the meantime, if you're watching the replay, good morning, Ruby. How are you? It's so good to see you. If you're watching, drop a couple lines in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. You know when I ask that question, I mean it seriously. It's not just like, hey, how are you? I really want to know how you're doing. I really want to know how your week is going and how you are going and how you're feeling. So let me know what goes on for you. My week has been good, if a little bit crazy. This is the time of year when I get super duper busy with music. It's the height of the summer. There are gigs all over the time. I'm gigging all weekend long. And I'm really excited to be doing that again because obviously last summer was kind of a bust as far as that stuff went. So I'm really glad to be able to do that. But that's why I am in this unusual location. I have a gig. This is going to be a short Witchy Weather Report. We're going to close out at about 11:40 a.m. That's Eastern Time. It's 11 o'clock a.m. right now, Eastern Time. So I can go get to my gig. But I'm going to cram as much into that time as I can. I see a couple people tuned in. I see Judith. Hi, Judith. Judith is catting me over there. Judith says, good morning. I woke up just in time. Big mood. I usually get up early on Saturdays, which is just weird and crazy because I'm a musician and getting up early is not in my blood. But I've been up for a little bit. Hey, Ondine, so good to see you. Hello. So I have this kind of unique setup today where I just popped into some borrowed space near my gig this afternoon so I could do the Witchy Weather Report and then go right to my gig and still do both things. I did not want to have to cancel the Witchy Weather Report. It feels so good to do this every Saturday. I'll be reading to you today from the Spiral Tarot, which for a long time when I was doing events, this was a tarot deck I would bring to events. And I don't know why. It felt accessible. I have a thing about not wanting to read with a traditional Rider-Waite, although I usually have it on my table available if someone wants to be read with that deck. But it has never been my go-to deck. It has never been. I do like Rider-Waite style decks, Rider-Waite Smith, I should say, honoring the artist Pamela Coleman Smith who created the deck. But it's never been my go-to. I never didn't connect with it until later. Although I will say Pamela Coleman Smith was a super awesome human, the amazing female black artist behind the classic tarot deck. What a really cool human. Anywho, so I will let you know, we are currently in a waxing moon. We just had the first quarter moon, which sounds like quarter, but it looks like a half a moon in the sky. Which means it's a really good time if you set an intention last week or if you have an intention, something you want to build on in your life, now is the time to take some actions, to plant some seeds, to go after those intentions that you have had brewing. It's time to take them out of your head and make them a reality in any small way that you can. Hey Grayson, how are you doing? So I'm sharing this in one or two places. In the meantime, please let me know how your week is going. I will let you know Oh, by the way, if you're a Sassafras Cast follower, there is a new episode coming out. I don't want to give you an exact time because I'm crazy this weekend, but it's recorded already. So it'll be coming out sometime this weekend. And if you are a patron, if you're at the $5 or $10 level where you get bonus episodes and get card pulls, that is recorded and ready to go as well. It will drop on the Patreon, like I said, sometime this weekend. I promise you, before Sunday night. That's the best I can do. Because it is a crazy busy weekend. We recorded it on Thursday night. And it is about manifesting. It is about kind of a recap of our manifesting challenge. And so it both like went through kind of our new moon to new moon manifesting process. And it also, it was like a little bit of a postmortem. Like we took the time to examine some of the pitfalls, some of the things we learned from it so that we can get better at this going forward. So that's going to drop everywhere you listen to podcasts. Sassafras Cast, like I said, sometime this weekend by Monday morning. Undine says, smooth enough, but smarting about the ways I remain stuck. Big mood. I really feel that. As someone who is like obsessed with trying to always make progress in my life, it's so frustrating that there are things that keep feeling like they're roadblocks. And we all have them, right? We all have those things that are like, why can't I just get past this though? B from Whimsical Weekend in the house. Hello, how are you doing? I was just saying, B is a patron, and you should check her out, by the way, Whimsical Weekend. Really great blog, really great Instagram channel, whimsical.weekend. Follow them on Instagram. I was just saying, if you're a patron, the new episode of Sassafras Cast is going to come out sometime this weekend, including the bonus episode and the card pulls for patrons who have subscribed at that level. And if you're not a patron, just the episode is coming out. It'll be out sometime. So make sure you're subscribed. It's Sassafras Cast. SASSAFRASCAST. Anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't worry, you know I'll be posting about it. So if you follow me wherever you're watching this, you will know when it comes out. Don't worry. All right, I know I have some comments going. Let me see what people are saying. Ruby says, great to see you too. Crazy week as well as in all ways. It has been a little crazy, right? Judith says, I am sleepy. Big mood. I am perpetually sleepy this week. It is my fate. I have also not had coffee yet, which is, Grayson says, I'm doing great. Yay. Yay. B says, hi, I'm doing really good. How are you? So glad I made it today. I'm so glad you made it today too. So as I was saying to everyone, it is going to be a little bit of a quick witchy weather report today because I have a gig this afternoon. That's why I'm in this unique space. I borrowed some space today so I could do the witchy weather report closer to my gig. So we're going to be wrapping up at about 11:40. So don't worry, I'm going to cram everyone in, but it's going to be like lightning round kind of thing as I do readings. So having said that, let me get started. I'm going to pull our card for the day. I will let you all know the moon is currently waxing. Good time to take actions towards your dreams right this minute. We may have experienced some epiphanies. Often that happens at the first quarter moon. Some epiphanies about what needs to happen to move our goals forward. I certainly had that experience yesterday, and I'm excited about it. If not, don't worry. Just start planting those seeds. Just take those steps. You know, that's all we need to do. All we need to do is keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we will be fine, and we'll get where we're going. I promise. In other news, it's the Tarot Annapolis 500. Yes, exactly. In other news, the world continues to follow us around. The tarot card, the world, indicating that all of us collectively as a society still have some looking back to do. We still have some processing to do around all the crazy things that happened in the last 18 months in 2020, which, as we know, kind of leaked into 2021. All of the things that happened and all of the ways that we have changed as a result, positive and negative, right? Some of us probably have some new trauma. Some of us also probably discovered some new strengths. Certainly, I think people came out of the woodwork both as helpers, you know, and also, and we learned about some people's very crazy ideas in the last 18 months. And, you know, whatever, it's been a transformative time, but that crazy kind of tower energy transformative. And now the energy we have is the world. It's really a time for us to, rather than trying to charge on, to look back and process, because we've been through a lot, and it's time to do some processing, create some value for ourselves, and understand ourselves a little better. And I know I've been harping about this week after week, but it keeps being true. The world just keeps coming up for me and for others, and it hasn't stopped. So clearly the universe is like, no, still more. So let me pull a card for all of us today. Our card is the Fool. Look at that. So let me talk about the Fool. This is a good week for you to start that new journey. Metaphorical or literal, a good time for travel. Finally, the world is starting to open up. We can travel. I urge you to do any traveling you do as safely as you possibly can. We're still coming out of a global pandemic. Be safe, be sane. But the Fool is a card of journeying. It is a card of questing. It is a card of not knowing what the heck you're doing and starting out anyway, like throwing your belongings over your shoulder and just going forth, saying like, all right, I'm going to do this. And you don't know exactly what the path will take, and you probably don't have a map, and you don't even know exactly how you'll know when you get there, but you know you have to go. It's a calling, the Fool. And the beautiful thing about the Fool is that you get like beginner's luck. So that's what's represented often by an angel. You see this angel kind of like hanging on to the Fool. The Fool's like a little bit like, look at me, I'm great. I'm going on a journey. It's going to be cool. And the angel's like, I got you, boo. The angel is looking out for the Fool. The Fool is so in a place, and needs to be in a place. We all need to be in this place right now where we are a little bit naive. Because we have to be a little naive to have the optimism and energy needed to start on a big journey. Right? It's very hard to do it if we're kind of like talking ourselves through all the things that could go wrong. Sometimes there's a place and time for that, but right now it's not. It's time to go. It's time to grab your shoes and get going. And this angel behind us is like, don't worry, like I'm looking out for you. You don't have to be super fearful right now because you are going to be protected. So there's an element of protection with the Fool. So try to, if you can, suspend your disbelief, put your worries on the back burner, and please, please this week move forward with whatever it is you are excited about. All right, I'm going to start pulling cards for people. I saw a meow from Andi, and I think first I got a meow from Judith. Let's see what I have here. Oh, Ruby was the first. Ruby was like, boom, I got that cat in. So I'm going to go Ruby, Judith, Grayson, Ruby, Judith, Andi, and Grayson. That is the order I'm going to be reading. If you are also tuned in and you would like me to pull a card, the secret code that we use is drop a cat in the chat. Drop a cat emoji in the chat, or just write the word meow, and I will definitely pull a card for you. We're going until 11:40 today. That's Eastern time. It's currently 11:13 my time. So let's get moving. Grayson says, makes sense that last week was the world and this week is the Fool. Yes, thank you for pointing that out because I was thinking about mentioning it. The world is the end of a chapter and the Fool is really the start of a chapter. The first and last cards of the major arcana. So finally, maybe we have done the processing and we can begin to move forward. Looks like I got a cat from B, so B's on the list too. Okay, Ruby, I am pulling a card for you at this time. By the way, how you doing, Ruby? It's been a minute. I always like to check in with you. You know, it's so funny. If you're someone I read for regularly, or someone who pops in on the broadcast regularly, like I really do miss you if you don't show your face, which is like, of course you have a life and it's okay. And I'm not like guilting anyone right now, but I really am like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. I really like, it's that kind of a thing. It's like a special little, thing to me that we get to check in like this every week. Okay. Ruby, here is your card. Your card is the Hierophant. Okay, let's talk about this. You have some opportunities to learn this week that are coming from a more traditional place. Now, I realize the Hierophant here looks very esoteric. Big guy in the sky making a rainbow with his hands, like pretty nifty and magical. Your job, Ruby, is to look at the things that are the cornerstones of your faith and your beliefs and your stability. And I use those terms loosely. I know everyone has different beliefs, including like having no belief, right? Then maybe our beliefs are in ourselves and in humanity and those kind of things. Whatever the cornerstones of your belief system is, that's what's going to get you through this time. And you can look and dig deep. You already have the answers that you need for this time. The Hierophant can also often represent the status quo, but in this particular moment, and that's something I know you've been dealing with, Ruby, You may find that the status quo has something new to offer you that actually helps you grow rather than hindering you. So it's a little bit of a mindset shift. And I encourage you to just go through your week with open eyes, to go through your week thinking, you know what, the things that I'm very used to in my day to day, the things that maybe I feel hold me back, the things that maybe I feel frustrated by, I'm going to give them the opportunity to surprise me. It doesn't mean you go through your week kind of like with a blindfold on, nothing like that. Just you have your mind open that you could be pleasantly surprised and you could have something really special to learn this week from your day to day, from those day to day, even the things that maybe up till now I felt like struggles and frustrating. You have something new to learn, a fresh perspective that will help you grow. And it might come from an unexpected place. Sometimes we have to get comfortable learning things from people and sources that we don't like that much. I've had a professional relationship, not with any of you. I've had a professional relationship that has been really challenging for me in the last several months. And it's because it's someone that I respect professionally and I just frankly don't like that much as an individual. It doesn't mean I'm not polite and compassionate and considerate or can't have a nice conversation. In fact, I've been growing in that way, right? This is like someone I would not be friends with. But I am in this professional relation with them. I engage with them regularly, and I have learned from the experience, even though it's not an experience I would have seeked out. And that might be the type of experience you can have, Ruby, is something that can teach you, even though it's in a context that maybe that's not where you want your lesson. But it's worthwhile, and it will help you, I promise. All right, I'm going to pull a card now for Judith, then Ondine, then Grayson, and then B. Good morning, Mary Jane. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. You're on Facebook today. Usually I catch you on Instagram. Okay. Judith, this card is for you, my dear. Queen of Cups. It's time to get in your feels, my friend. You know, the nice thing about this is that I don't have my ring light on so you can see the cards clearly. I have to think about the lighting situation where I usually record because I know sometimes it reflects on the cards, but right now we're okay. Let's talk about the Queen of Cups. This is the Spiral Tarot, by the way. We have a lot of lessons to learn this week, and this week the lesson is going to be from your emotions. And I encourage you, you've probably heard me make this speech before, I encourage you to treat your emotions as teachers and as wise messengers and listen appropriately. Now, you're the queen in this, right? This is you. This queen represents you. So you're the queen. The queen isn't an obedient child. The queen isn't like, yes, ma'am. The queen is like, okay, tell me what it is that you have to share with me because I know your input is valuable and will help me make wise decisions. And the Queen of Cups especially does that with her emotions and with her intuition, as well as with her creativity. Like Cups and Fire really are the big creativity suits, so pay attention. Pay attention to your creative impulses. Pay attention to your emotional impulses, especially the uncomfortable ones. And pay attention this week to your intuition. If you get little gut feelings, positive or negative or just weird, pay attention. And your goal is to see yourself as a queen, as a leader, receiving guidance from someone that you trust. Probably multiple someones that you trust, right? We have many emotions throughout the day. We have many impulses throughout the day. As you go through your day and receive this information, maintain your idea that I'm the queen and I'm receiving information so that I can make wise decisions. The queen does not make decisions in a heartbeat because she's the queen. She's got a lot going on. She can't afford to just be like, that's what I'm doing. She thinks things through. She considers all of the information she is receiving, and then she makes a wise choice. It doesn't mean everyone's going to like what she has to say, but it does mean that she gives the individuals that she respects and trusts her time because she knows their input is valuable. Treat your emotions that way. Treat your intuitive moments that way. Gut feelings. Yes, I really want to do this. Ooh, I feel weird and I don't know why. Those kind of feelings. Pay attention. Treat them as important messengers this week and see what you have to learn. Okay. Ondine pulling a card for you, then Grayson. I'm always trying to guess because this is cross-platform. So I have people coming in from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and I try my best to just go order that I received the comment. And if two come in kind of at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure. So I do my very best to kind of be in the order I receive the cats. Mary Jane says, I'm good. Doctor just yelled at me for not taking vitamins she prescribed. Bad patient, vitamin D. Oh gosh, girl. I have been on a vitamin D journey myself. And let me tell you, so worthwhile. I had very low vitamin D and like scary low. Like my vitamin D was like 7 and it's supposed to be like in the 25, 35 range. And the doctor was like, oh God, take some vitamin D. And I have to say, like, certain symptoms that I just accepted as like part of getting older or whatever have resolved themselves through taking regular D. It's been like maybe 5 or 6 months now, and it has really made a difference in my life. So it might make a big difference in your life. But anyway, yes, I understand. Oh, hey, Diggy Cat. Diggy Cat says on Instagram, oh my gosh, yes, vitamin D is so important. And B says, you do so good, I'd be lost with all those platforms. Oh, thank you, B. I'm trying. I just, like, go through life in a haze of confusion. I've just expected this at this point. Anyway, I don't want to be the person... I know everyone's like, yes, vitamin D. We don't want to be the people nagging you to take your vitamins. You already know it's important. But I will... I just want to be a ray of hope that, like, it actually will... Like, you will feel better. All right, Ondine, I am pulling a card for you. As a reminder, if you just tuned in, 1, this is a short witchy weather report this week. We're going to wrap up around 11:40. It's now 11:22 where I am. And 2, if you'd like me to pull a card, just drop a cat in the chat. Drop a cat emoji or write the word meow. I mean, I guess, Diggy Cat, by joining, you technically are dropping a cat in the chat, so I don't know if I should automatically assume you want a card. I'll let you decide. Ondine, I am pulling a card for you. Mary Jane says, I will be taking, she says I could have a heart attack and no strenuous exercise, scared straight. My goodness. That would scare me too. Well, take your vitamin D, by gosh. There's a really nice liquid vitamin D supplement at the vitamin shop that I get. It comes in like a little eyedropper, and it's like just like a light eyedropper of like oil with vitamin D in it. That's what I take every day, and it's really easy. I just take it while I'm cooking my breakfast. Okay. Ondine, look at your card. It's the star. Diggy Cat says, hilarious because it's true. Meow. Ondine, your card is the star. The star is such a beautiful... We're getting such big, beautiful cards this week. The star is about your inspiration, your creativity, your hope. You have these things available to you this week, and I implore you to keep your eyes open for them. Sometimes when we are going through challenging times or trying to break out of a rut even, we can kind of have blinders to certain types of hope because we feel like, oh, I got to keep my game face on. You know what I mean? We're like, I don't have time for that. I have got to stay focused because it's just because I, like, this is all about me. I have to get myself through this. I have to get myself out of this. And I can't be distracted by petty things like hope and inspiration, right? It's like really sad, but it's really true. I have this tendency myself a lot, and it's funny as someone making a living as an artist, but here I am. Allow yourself to be pulled into hope and inspiration this week. Allow yourself to be pulled into optimism. Know that there is creativity. There is like a renaissance, a kind of both creative and spiritual renaissance available to you at this time, and lean into it. Don't be afraid. It can be very, very hard to trust. It's a vulnerability thing, right? Because our relationship with our hope and with our creativity, very, very connected. It is a relationship, like an interpersonal relationship, and it can be really hard to trust when we feel that we've been burned, when we've been hurt before. Just as if you have had a relationship, like a love relationship, go sour, it's very, very hard to open your heart again. Open your heart because there's really good stuff available to you at this time, and I'd hate to see you not get to enjoy that. Like ride the wave, really enjoy it. Big water energy with this, ride the wave, experience it. And don't feel like you have to know where you are or where you're going all the time. That's important. Just allow yourself to experience the experience. It will teach you what it has to teach you. Trust that you don't need to be in charge in this moment. Sometimes we get very caught up in feeling like I have to be at my best self and I have to be in control. This is not about being in control. This is about surrendering to something beautiful and exciting, and it will really help. Ondine says, so interesting that the card for the star in this deck is reminiscent of Aquarius. Yeah, agree. Good observation. I just shuffled it in, or I would show it again. I really agree, though. And, I mean, that is, like, the star and Aquarius. I really see that connection, you know, because it's about new beginnings and hope and new things that you maybe wouldn't have considered possible a week ago, and suddenly you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm so excited, you know, and that's big Aquarian energy for sure. As well as surrender. I think people think of Aquarius as like the committed weirdos, which as someone with an Aquarius rising, I am a committed weirdo. But I'm here to say there's a lot of surrender involved in it. You know, there's a lot of surrendering to something greater and more experienced and exciting than yourself. Anyway, Grayson, I am going to pull a card for you. I'm trying to move pretty quickly. We're in kind of lightning round because we are closing up shop this week early at 11:40 a.m. because I have a gig later on. I will be playing music at the Huntington Folk Festival today. If you're local on Long Island, I know some of you are, some of you are not. Feel free to drop by. I'll be on at 1:15, but there's going to be great music all day. Grayson, pulling a card for you, then a hydration checkpoint, then it is time for... Who have I not called on yet? B, Mary Jane, Diggy Cat. Someone remind me to take a sip of water after this one. Yes, Judith, it is today. King of Pentacles. Okay. All of our big core cards and major arcana cards all day today. That's really cool. Okay, so let's talk about this, Grayson. The King of Pentacles is a wise steward of his resources, and you are being called on to be that wise steward. Now, wisdom means just that, and if you're having a knee-jerk reaction around this of either like, oh, see, I should be more careful with my money, or oh, see, I should have done that investment, or oh, see, I should have... I encourage you not to lean into the knee-jerk reaction because the King of Pentacles... he doesn't have time for knee-jerk reactions. He is a wise and resourceful individual, and he's someone who makes careful and wise decisions because there's a lot riding on them. He's a king, right? He is the leader, and his decisions carry weight. So he does take his time, and he makes thoughtful decisions, and he is not moved by those kind of emotional knee-jerk things of like, oh crap, I should have done this. He may experience regrets. He might even have that impulsive moment like, oh, I wish I had done this other thing that I didn't do. But he takes it, much like the Queen of Cups, he takes it as input from a wise advisor, and he takes it as counsel from the universe, and then considers it, and then makes a choice. He does not make an impulsive choice in the moment. So you're being urged to regard your resources in this wise way. The word that comes to mind that I advise you to use as a keyword is to think of yourself as a steward of your resources. And I want you to remember that your resources, everyone thinks money when pentacles come up. Certainly it is a suit that reflects money. But the big three that I talk about are time, money, and energy. If you have 2 out of 3 of those going well, the one that is not going well is the one that's going to stymie you. And probably at any given moment, it's hard to have all 3 going well. But that's what stewardship looks like. It looks like saying, is this moving on? Is this moving along in the correct way? Good. I'm going to focus on the thing that's not. I'm going to give extra attention to the thing that's not working well so that we can get everything back into a healthy balance, right? And then continuing to do that, continuing to be adaptable, right? One week it will be your time. One week it'll be like, wow, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh. The next week you'll be fine with time, but you'll have maybe a money crunch. The week after that, maybe it's just an energy thing. Maybe from all of the stress of the last 2 weeks, you're just like, man, I need to replenish myself here. Health is another resource as well, like health in your family life. These are resources that are not to be discounted. So I want you to consider the resources day to day, the things in your life that you don't think about until there's a problem. Those are our core resources, the things that give us stability. right? As a homeowner, I don't think about like my roof until it gives me a problem and I have a leak. And then I think real hard about my roof. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those resources and those things that lend us a sense of stability until something is the matter. And I encourage you to be a good steward of those resources at this time. All right. Hydration checkpoint. It's time for some water. I recommend you all take a sip of water as well. Grayson says, very appropriate card this week. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. I just want to like take a hot minute. I know I'm like trying to run at a speed here, but I want to just take a hot minute and say how much I appreciate all of you. Thank you for showing up each week. Thank you for just being a part of my world each week. I really look at this as time that's like as important as me like having a lunch date to catch up with a friend or family member. Like it's so important to me to get to catch up with you every week and get to like, you know, virtually see all of you and see how everyone is doing and get all of your perspectives. It's just become so meaningful to me. So thank you for being a part of this, everyone. Who is next? B, I think, then Mary Jane, and then Diggy Cat. Diggy Cat says, I'm taking my vitamins, so I got the water flowing. Diggy Cat, that sounds like a bathroom joke. I'm not going to go any further on that. All right, B, I'm pulling a card for you at this time. By the way, everyone, if you enjoy what you've been, if you enjoy the Witchy Weather Report, please make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified when I go live. I do this every week, same time, same place. And if you want to throw some love in the virtual tip jar, you're welcome to. Tips are accepted very gratefully, but never, ever expected. It's Venmo at Rory Kelly, which you can see running across the ticker if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And I think it's in the title of the broadcast or something on Instagram. I don't even know. It's in there. Venmo at Rory Kelly. I always forget to say it, and then the broadcast ends, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. So I'm trying to be better about that. B, here is your card. Ace of Wands. Wowie. Okay, let's talk about this. B, oh my gosh, too, because I also pulled a card for you, and this is related. I also pulled a card for you in the bonus episode. B is a patron, everyone, and if you're a patron at a certain level, you get a card pull every month. I pulled a card for you for Sassafras Cast, and this is so relevant. So I want you to like hold this in your mind because you're gonna get like more affirmations from the universe related to this coming up when that show drops. Sorry, spoiler alert. Ace of Wands. Okay, the universe is calling you big time, B, to step into your power and to own your creativity, especially your creativity. Like if you have a creative impulse that maybe you like haven't been making time for, it's really time to do it. If you have something you've been wanting to start and you've been saying like, oh, do I have time for one more thing? Yes, you do. Make the time because it's going to be very transformative for you. It's going to take you down a path that is going to teach you so much and transform you and transform others. You have to realize that this is your gift, not just to yourself, but to the world. And if it feels selfish to give into like what language we use, if it feels selfish to follow a creative impulse, instead, think of it this way. Instead, consider that it is selfish not to. Consider that it is selfish to deprive others of the contents of your soul and the contents of your head. Consider that you have a purpose in whatever you are going to create in your life, be it literal or metaphorical in terms of what you're creating. And it's really important. So please do it. Please go all in. Again, I ask you, surrender to the call. B says, I'm weird. I love spoilers. Oh, I see. Thank you so much, by the way. I see a couple of people have dropped some love into the Venmo tip jar. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So that is your card this week, B. Ace of Wands. Mary Jane, it is your turn, then Diggy Cat, and then I'm going to skedaddle after that. Oh, it's so great getting to check in with you guys. So great getting to read for you every week. I love the energy that comes together in this space, the collective, consensual energy. Okay. Mary Jane, Six of Swords. It is time to pull yourself away from this negative thing that you have been stuck in. I sense that this is maybe not a literal thing, like maybe not like literally walking away from things, because you've certainly had to do your share of that with like crappy relationships, for example. I sense this is more about walking away from a negative headspace, perhaps that resulted from that kind of stuff. It's time for you very gently to take yourself in hand and move yourself to safe harbor. You can see that the water behind this boat that the person is riding in is like turbulent and crappy, but as you move forward, the water gets calm. And there's also an angel, and the angel's like, this way, this is the way you want to go. This is the way. You see that angel like pointing? You have help. So please open yourself up to it in the form of things like signs, in the form of teachers, in the form of like not even necessarily literal teachers, but people who teach you things. You know what I mean? Things that happen in conversations that someone just says off the cuff that make you go, wow, wow, I have to think about that. Those kind of things. Those are the teachers I'm talking about, those teaching moments. You have an opportunity to do some healing and to do some recovery. And in order to do so, you actually have to actively take yourself out of a negative place. And I want you to do that gently, because nobody ever recovered from a negative headspace by bullying themselves about it. So I really urge you to think of it as like taking yourself in hand and gently and loving you, guiding yourself to a safer shore. And if you're not sure, look around you, because there are literal signs pointing the way. And this is regardless of what you believe, whether you believe that literally like, oh, there's an angel looking out for me, which is cool. If you believe that, that's great. And I think it's a very useful belief. Or if you are like, well, I believe that by choosing to look for signs, I will see something that helps me. Also a useful belief. I don't care. I'm just here to tell you that there's help available to you, and just like open yourself to it. Again, I invite you to surrender. Surrender yourself to the idea that there is help available to you. And if you follow the path one step at a time, you will get to a better place that feels safer and that feels like you can take a deep breath. Diggy Cat just all over the place. Diggy Cat like hopping over from Instagram over to Facebook. B says, thank you for pulling me. That sounds like you're in a sled and I'm pulling you, which is fun, actually. You're very welcome, B. Okay, you're welcome, Mary Jane. This is going to be my last card for the day. I'm pulling a card for you, Diggy Cat. Thank you, everyone, for being part of my Witchy Weather Report. Reminder, Sassafras Cast, a new episode is coming out. I'm making a promise to you that it will be out by Monday. Everywhere, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. It's recorded, it's edited, I just have to upload it and send it around the universe, and it's a busy weekend, but it's going to be a great episode. It's about manifesting. If you're a patron and if you support at the level that gets you bonus episodes and or card pulls, that will also be dropping sometime this weekend, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So make sure you subscribe to me, Sassafras Cast, SASSAFRASCAST, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, a weird little app on your Android. That's me. I have a weird little app on my Android phone. Wherever. Subscribe, because that podcast is dropping any minute. Hey, Doreen. So good to see you. Okay, real quick, Doreen. Say yes if you want a card, because I'm about to sign off, but I'll pull a card for you if you want one. Diggy Cat, this is your card. Diggy Cat, your card is the moon. It is really time for you to delve into your subconscious at this time. And I know from talking to you, I forget which broadcast it was, but there was a live stream where you were talking and kind of sharing with us about how you say affirmations and stuff and kind of self-hypnotize yourself a little bit before you go to sleep at night. Your subconscious, I know you have a good relationship with your subconscious, is what I'm trying to say. Your subconscious right now is where you need to be spending your time. There's some learning to be done there. That will involve some interpreting. That will feel weird. You may be interpreting big emotional, like the subconscious often gives us like a big emotional lens around something that perhaps is a very practical message, but we need to kind of take a step back and be able to sort through it. So pay attention to your subconscious, pay deep attention to your dreams, pay attention to your impulses and intuitions. You may even desire to take up a listening practice rather than a speaking practice towards your subconscious. I know that you, like many of us in like the New Age community, like make use of things like affirmations. And I encourage you to tune into your subconscious and say, what is it? Maybe that this can be a question before you go to sleep. What is it that you need to share with me? And make it a listening practice and see what comes of that this week. Okay, pulling a card for you, Doreen. Oh my gosh, someone just tuned in. Okay, guys, I'm in overtime now. I'm going to be real fast. Lightning round. Savannah, if you want a card, drop a cat right this minute. And thank you for tuning in. Because I'm running a short Witchy weather report today. I have to run. Oh, Diggy Cat says, I was certified in dream analysis too. That's so cool. I didn't know that about you. You are a cat of many layers, Diggy Cat. All right, Doreen, here is your card. Your card, Doreen, is the 5 of Cups. All right, what has disappointed you? And I want to ask you a very direct question. Are you currently in a headspace of like, this has let me down and I'm upset about it, but I shouldn't be upset about it. That's not a helpful emotion. I'm just going to be love and light. And I encourage you to go ahead and grieve the thing that's disappointing you. I encourage you to feel the challenging feelings around whatever like recent small letdown you had, and allow yourself to know that those feelings are valid and important and that they matter. It doesn't mean you have to set up, like, it doesn't mean you have to build a house there, right, in those challenging feelings, but it's really, really okay for you to feel them, for you to honor them, and for you to say, like, yes, I am, insert feeling here. Yes, I am pissed off. Yes, I feel betrayed. Yes, I'm annoyed. Yes, I'm resentful because I would have done this differently if I had known. You know, like, I really want to allow you, and for you to allow yourself to, like, have a meltdown if you need to have a meltdown, to be, like, really kind to yourself and hold space for yourself to feel your feelings. Because the truth is, you're right, as you're probably already suspecting, that there are beautiful things in your life to enjoy, and that one small setback or whatever isn't the end of the world. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay to cry over spilt milk. It's okay to feel your feelings about it. It's okay to get in and be like, you know what, yes, I experienced a disappointment and I want to be real and honest with myself. Because sometimes when we move through them, literally that's all we need to do. We just need to move through them and we come out saner and wiser and feeling better. The same way we feel better like after having a good cry, you know, like after having a stressful day. And it just kind of cleanses ourselves. So the key word this week that's really coming out for everyone is surrender. So yes, I really like surrender to what you're experiencing, because it will let you move forward. Don't worry. Don't think it's stopping you. Doreen says, oh yes, that's what I do. Get pissed and move forward. I love it. Yes, my kind of woman. Oh, thank you, Savannah. Savannah says, I know I'm late. No card for me today. I'm just happy to be here. Emily, I know you just tuned in, but I gotta run. All right, I'm waiting for someone to come through this door. No one has come through the door yet, so I'm going to pull a card for you, Emily. Savannah, are you sure you don't want a card? I really will pull one for you. Because I'm just assuming, Emily, that you would like, you know, that you would like a card. But I feel like you deserve one. Also, Emily, you have a cat as your, like, user icon. So you coming in, existing, is like dropping a cat in the chat. Judith Wyman says, surrender, Dorothy. I'm just going to put that up there. We just all need to see that. See you soon, Doreen. It's so good to get to see you. Thank you for popping in. Savannah, are you sure you don't want a card? Because I really will pull one for you. Emily, this is your card for the week. We're in the lightning round. I'm moving very quickly because I'm closing up shop a little early today. 8 of Swords. Let's talk about this. What is making you feel stuck? What is it that's making you feel like, oh, I'm stuck and I can't move and it's not me, it's something external and I don't have control over it. Why can't I get out of this? Because I'm here to tell you that your stuckness, although real, although at one point it was real and you were held back by these external forces, you were stuck. You're no longer stuck. You now have the means, fairly easily in fact, to free yourself. And I'm speaking both emotionally and otherwise, because it's an emotional thing you need to do. Right now, you need to be aware that you are more in control of your destiny than you think. And I know me telling you, like, you need to know this, like, that's easier said than done. I really understand that. But I'm telling you, so surrender to this information. You are more in control than you believe. It is actually fairly easy for you to change your fate around this, for you to change what seems to be just holding you up constantly. it's actually going to be easy for you to kind of like slip out of it and like go in through the side door. You know what I mean? Know that you are not as stuck as you believe you are, that the world is not against you as it may feel, and that you have a lot more power in this situation than you believe. Savannah says, I'm sure today. Thanks, friend. Savannah, you're the best. And thank you for these amazing rainbow heart emojis. I just want to put this nice rainbow heart emoji up there. I love Savannah's emoji. It's like the secret ingredient in Savannah's emojis is love. Just makes me so happy. All right, everybody, that's it for the Witchy Weather Report today. If you missed the main big card, it's the Fool. This is a time for us to go journeying, and I invite you to surrender to the adventure this week. If you take nothing else away, surrender to the adventure. Live it, sink into it, let it carry you along. See what happens. Farewell, my loves. You're wonderful. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me and subscribe to Sassafras Cast, SASSAFRASCAST, because a new episode is going to be dropping by Monday, sometime this weekend. Bye!